Our guest is Mayor KDean, and the issue is Nashville, Tennessee at the 21st century. And of course, Mayor Dean is giving us some information relative to the economic development of Nashville. And of course, Mayor Dean, let's see if we might pick up at that point and allow you to continue.
Well, a couple other things that I think are particularly attractive about a convention center in Nashville is also the fact that we are so centrally located. I mean, we're driving distance for much of the U.S. population. We have a very good airport, good service into Nashville. So I think we're going to be extremely competitive. And I think people will want to come to Nashville for their downtown convention business. Now, the cost of this is going to be expensive, but I want to assure people that the convention center will be paid for through tourist-related fees and through the hotel-motel tax. It will not come from property tax. The old convention center, which was completed in '87, was entirely paid for. Its bonds paid off for the construction of it and for the addition that was done to it by using hotel-motel tax. And we're using that same model for this one.
Very good. And so there's a very positive thing that could come out of something like this, is that?
Right. I think it's important that we, you know, this convention center to me is an investment in ourselves. I mean, periodically a city needs to be confident enough to invest in itself and its economic future, and this is what this convention center represents to me. We're not building a stadium for us to go to games. We're building a convention center to attract visitors, to attract business, and to make a statement, I think, about what a great city we have.
You know, Mayor, one of the other areas that is of some concern, because we've had people to come to the show, and they've talked about some of the issues of the homeless population and poverty in Nashville and et cetera, urban poverty and et cetera. What are we doing in reference to, and how does your program fit into reference to dealing with this as an issue?
Well, the issue of the homeless is, I mean, it's a moral issue, and it's also an economic issue, and we need to be doing whatever we can do. I mean, there's obvious certain constraints that we have budgetarily at this particular moment, in this particular year, to do some new things. But long term, I think we need to look at getting to the root causes of why people become homeless. And they become homeless for a variety of reasons. I mean, some people will become homeless temporarily because of an economic setback that's temporary and they need help to get back on their feet. Or they could become homeless because of domestic violence is often a cause. But it's also drug and alcohol issues can be a part of it, and mental health issues. I mean, there has been a lot of deinstitutionalization that has occurred in terms of the state mental health. So we need to be aware of all that and look for solutions with partnering with nonprofits, partnering with the private sector. But it's an issue that's going to be more and more important for us to address.
Very good. And of course, dealing with a continuation in terms of some social aspects in reference to this. There are a large number of individuals that are unemployed and without young people, and I say this specifically because in some neighborhoods the unemployment among youth is extreme. You see,
right, and I think the answer to that, I mean, Nashville has, you know, Nashville, we are really blessed to have a city with a very dynamic and diverse economy. I mean, we have tourism as an industry, we have insurance, we have the music industry, we have the universities, we have the government, obviously the state capitol. It's a diverse economy. But that goes back to the convention center. One of the reasons I'm excited about that is that it will create a lot of jobs. It will create a lot of jobs in the hospitality industry, which a lot of young people can do while they're in school, and it will create new opportunities. Going back to schools, though, I mean, part of the reason why we want to have good schools is for economic development, is to create a workforce, is to make our kids employable, and to have them have the education they need, whether they go to college or not, to get good jobs. So, I mean, the education system is ultimately the answer to that, I think.
And of course, that brings us to the education system in a real sense, because I think that one of the real issues now has to do with education in terms of funding. Education in terms of education leadership. Why don't you give us some thoughts in terms of what you would like to try to achieve in terms of dealing with the
This is a real unique time for Nashville. I mean, obviously we've had there's an opening for leadership at the Board of Education for the director's position. Right now, Nashville has most of the political leadership. Certainly, I'm talking about it. We have the council has been talking about it, and the Board of Education has been talking about the need to concentrate on improving schools. The business community, I think, is committed to seeing schools improve, because they know that for us to expand, for us to grow, we need to have the good schools. Nonprofits, churches are all interested in education. We've got a great governor who is, I think, is committed to public education more so than anybody else in the state. So we have all those things going for us right now, and we need to take advantage of it. Now, we have challenges. The good news is we've made a lot of progress in K through 4. Reading scores are up. We have 2 public high schools that are ranked in the top 50 in the entire country, which is an incredible achievement. But in the summer of 2007, our school system, 13 schools, were placed on what's called corrective action by the state, that we were not meeting our goals under the No Child Left Behind legislation. And so we need to get that fixed. And we need to keep kids in school. We have a couple schools with high dropout rates, and we need to focus on that. We need to be innovative. We need to be open to new ideas, and we need to be willing you know, to just do what we need to do to give our kids the education they deserve.
And of course, the selection of this new leadership that we're talking about now, there was some suggestion that perhaps you might be given the authority to sort of oversee that activity.
Well, I intend to participate in the process of hiring a director, and the board has agreed to that. And we have a good board, and I want to work with them, and it's ultimately their legal decision. But you know, the way I look at it, you know, the mayor doesn't have, you know, we get to authorize the money for the schools, but we don't have a formal role in the running the schools. But as mayor, my job is to make sure that the city has a bright future, to make sure that the present is working. And to be successful there, we have to have schools that are succeeding, and we have to have kids who are engaged. So as mayor, I think I do have a role in public education, and I intend to play it.
Do you think that from your experiences, for example, we've got a minute before this next commercial break, but let's have you to sort of reflect upon your experiences as a person involved in law enforcement itself, and to talk about some of the problems that we face and some of the challenges and perhaps some of your solutions in terms of the crime rate and violence and those things that are generally associated with that.
Well, I mean, number one, we need to support our police department and make public safety a priority. But I can tell you from my experience as a public defender, working with juveniles and working with adults, that kids being truant, kids dropping out of school was the common denominator amongst most of my clients. And I think anything we can do to make sure that kids get the education they need and they stay in school and get a degree will have definite benefits for public safety.
Very good. Of course, Mayor, let me take this second commercial break, after which we'll come back and give you an opportunity to continue this. And we'll be back with our audience following this short commercial break. The guest is Mayor